And thanks for joining us this morning. I am joined by Peter Lawson Jones, News Channel 5's Democratic analyst for 2012. Peter's also a former Cuyahoga County commissioner with more than 20 years of public service. Ohio primary is on Tuesday, of course. Here in the state of Ohio, voters in several Northeast Ohio counties must choose between two long-term Democratic representatives. That, of course, being Dennis Kucinich and Marcy Kaptur. Peter, the loser of this one, quite simply, goes home.
Well, you know, it's interesting because I've known both of them since the 1970s. And I don't know, as dysfunctional as Congress has been, maybe the winner is the loser and the loser the winner. I don't know. But this is a primary election in which whoever prevails really is the prohibitive favorite come this fall. The Republicans are really only offering token opposition in a district that's really been designed, as a matter of fact, packed full of Democrats.
And Peter, for years, these two representatives have been very friendly, of course, representing the state of Ohio. Are you surprised how ugly this has gotten, especially in the last few days, last couple of weeks?
I'll be honest with you. I'm disappointed. I think you could have expected some legitimate attacks on the record, pointing out the differences and how the parties have voted. But when I look at some of the ads, there's one today that tries to tie Dennis to Jimmy DeMora, a radio ad that is simply unbelievable. You also have certain ads where they've taken votes and construed them in a way that is really misleading. I mean, the plain dealer has found Representative Kaptur's TV ads misleading and only half truthful. And then you have Dennis who's fighting back and saying, maybe this is what they do in Toledo, which is alienating a little of some of the voters in Lucas County, but that's probably calculated on his part. But it's a shame to see two stalwarts who've been very progressive legislators and friends for many years to see this dissolve and devolve into this kind of bitter, acrimonious, and frankly, for the public, not terribly helpful discourse over the last month or so.
And Peter, this new 9th district is really huge, going all the way from here in Cleveland west to Toledo. I mean, that's a lot of votes out there.
No question about it. And what's interesting is that if you look at the district, although there are more of Marcy Kaptur's residents who are more than Dennis's that are in the district, you have about a third of the Democratic votes will come from the district that's currently represented by Marcy, a third from the district that's presently represented by Dennis, and a third, mostly in Lorain County, who are represented by neither Marcy nor Dennis at this time. And so, in large measure, that's a very major battleground, Lorain. And Marcy Kaptur, to her credit, has secured the endorsements of most of the elected officials in Lorain County. But of course, endorsements don't vote, and we'll have to see how that ultimately turns out.
Peter, how close do you think it'll come down between these two?
I think it's going to be very close. If you take a look at the tenor of the arguments and the ads and the debates over the last several weeks, it clearly shows that this is a close race, and it might turn on, turn out. Whose voters are going to be the most excited about casting their ballot for their current member of Congress? Will it be the Lucas County voters who have elected Marcy time and time again, or the Cuyahoga County voters who have elected Dennis to numerous offices during the course of his career? So that's going to be very interesting. Certainly, if you look in the last couple of years, the last couple of election cycles, Dennis has certainly had tougher opposition. In his last race, I think, in the primary, he only probably had about 50 to 55% of the vote. He ran against 2 or 3 other candidates. It's going to be interesting to see what that means. One other critical factor, money. Now clearly, Marcy has raised more, Marcy has spent more, and Marcy has more left in her campaign coffers at this time. Could be the difference.
A lot of times that's what politics comes down to, is money. Finally, the winner of Tuesday's primary, how might the winner affect President Obama's re-election campaign here in the state of Ohio?
Well, I think that whether Dennis wins or Marcy, and I should point out that one of the benefits Dennis has is a name that almost is known nationally. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays in terms of how people vote. But I think whether Marcy wins or Dennis wins, they will both be strong advocates for President Barack Obama this fall. And I don't think voters are going to be turned off no matter who wins in terms of not supporting the ticket. They will turn out. This is a major election. There's going to be a lot of money spent, a lot of effort put into voter turnout. So whether Dennis wins or Marcy wins, I think you'll still see extraordinary voter turnout in Ohio, which is always a battleground state when it comes to national elections, and particularly presidential elections.
Well, certainly, and Super Tuesday should be fascinating here in the state of Ohio. Peter Lawson Jones, our Democratic analyst for 2012 here at News Channel 5. Appreciate you coming in this morning.
And I look forward to being back on March 6th.
We'll see you Tuesday night.
All right.
Bet. All right, send it now back to the desk.